Welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name is Grant. Today we are unboxing a brand new game, Prelude to Vicksburg, Chickasaw Bayou, December 26th through 29, 1862. So this is an American Civil War game. The game is in the American Civil War Blind Swords series, and this is volume number 9, published by Revolution Games. Very, very cool looking system. I know Herman Luttman was the one to initially formulate the system. I was looking for the designer. The designer is Stephen Oliver. And you can see the map graphics there are very reminiscent of the late Rick Barber. Sorry, just trying to get a little better focus of it. But looks good. Love the little black boxes. These are smaller, obviously, than normal. They've got some cool pictures and graphics around. And the collector in me obviously loves the fairly standard spine because I can put those up on my bookshelf and game shelf and they'll look really, really good. But yeah, this is volume 9. I've actually never specifically played a Blind Sword series game, meaning one of the games in the series, but I played other games that use the system or use a modified version of the system. Most recently, A Most Fearful Sacrifice from Flying Pig Games by Herman Luttman. The hallmark of the system, if you don't know, is that it's chit pull. We love chit pull games here because it creates some real uncertainty about when and who may activate and at what time, or whether they may even activate during the turn. Those are always kind of a cool element with chit pull games. So this is chit pull, and it is built on 3 concepts: the 3 F's of warfare: fog of war, friction of war, and fortunes of war. So I know that's the way Herman has tried to build this system, and then I know the subsequent volumes have taken that into account. So let's go ahead and get, without further blabbing, historical picture on the front showing some digging, I assume as the, well, are those Confederate troops digging? Yes. So those are Confederates digging with the Union Army coming up the hill. You can see all the smoke from the firing in the background. But yeah, so this is kind of a lead up to, I think, Vicksburg. So this is in Grant's Vicksburg campaign. That's why I even brought that up. But obviously it's called Prelude to Vicksburg. So when you open the game, you've got 2 fairly standard 6-sided dice. I do like the white die with the red pips. That's a nice touch. I'm sure that's going to look great. And then the first thing you've got here are a couple of charts. Let me go ahead and pull out actually quite a few charts, and that's good. Always good to have charts and tables, but that is the the front cover. This is probably what they use in the bagged edition of the games, because you can buy it bagged or boxed. They use this as the cover in the baggie. But on the back of this, you can see the turn record track. There's the broken track, and then there's an eliminated units box, like the colors used there. A couple of the other, there are 2 sets of identical player aids. Let me go ahead and put those back. Here you have the CRT. It's a big one, goes all the way up to 23 strength. Got things like weapon ranges, the different types of artillery and gunfire, different DRMs and adjustments, different shifts, and then close combat shifts. On the back, cohesion test tables there. So lots of play aids, lots of different information that you're going to use to play the game. There's a break test table here, and then you have the terrain effects key over on the right. So once again, 2 identical play aids so that each player can have one. I think that's always an important part of a 2-player game. Handing a play aid back and forth is never fun. A second set of play aids, and these are your more traditional. You've got sequence of play listed here on the left, and then how a bunch of the different orders work, from rallying to regrouping, stacking limits, bayou entry penalties, casualty, fog of war chit results, because these are kind of your events when you pull those. Brigadier order details, and then these are, once again, the terrain effects chart, but those are the movement values, and then the line of sight rules. And then on the back are the Union event descriptions. So here you can see how all of those will affect the game. I like this little inset there. That's really nice. Very cool. And once again, identical play aids. So having two of those, always a good thing. And then finally, the play aids that you have here, these are single-sided, and these are your activation displays. So whichever commander you've pulled and is active, you're going to place them on there to show what they did. So you've got this is the Confederate, right? Confederate brigades. There you have the commander-in-chief, Pemberton. And then here is the Union brigade activation with Sherman at the top. And then the different Union leaders and divisions shown. But yeah, handy dandy play to ease play and remind you who has activated and who has not. So the next thing we see are two of the rule books. There are two rule books. This is a series game, so you're always going to get a version of the series rules. So Blind Sword series rules. This is version 1.2 in 2024. So with this version or game, you've got a new edition, updated edition of the rules. And then here is the playbook. I'm sorry, the exclusive rules. So these are rules specifically that are tied here to Chickasaw Bayou. Let's go ahead and look into the rule book. Not an overly thick rule book, 16 pages. Like that it has an index on the back, always beneficial, because then I can look up whatever I want and get an adjudication fairly quickly and understand it. So actual rules looks like 15 pages. This goes into detail of turn end and rally attempts, attacking, cohesion tests. Very dense text though, but I do see the important note and an example. They've got those in grayed out boxes, which are going to pull your attention to those. And if you're like me, sometimes in these rule books, I highlight and mark up spots. That way I remember it. Goes into the chit draw phase here. Very few graphics, which I'm surprised by. Here are the layout of the counters. We'll take a look at those here in a minute. Some of the different administrative markers that they show. But yeah, pretty standard stuff there with the rules. And then once again, these are the exclusive rules, and these are in full color. Yeah, very, very much nicer. There's some pictures here, some examples. I've played a couple of Revolution games, but never, once again, in this Blind Sword series. So I'm very much looking forward to this. And there was another game that came out along with this one, Volume 10, but I decided to buy Chickasaw. I'll probably, if we really enjoy it, go back and buy the other one, and then probably start the process of collecting the other remaining volume in the series. The next thing we see before we get to the pièce de résistance, the maps, these are the counter sheets. Pretty nice looking counters, straightforward. There is, formations are on there, attack values, movement values, then who those commanders are. That's going to aid you when you do the chit poll. There's some of the Confederate States of America leaders, CSA leaders, pioneers. So those are the guys that are digging the fortifications, putting up the pontoon bridges, that kind of thing. And then those are the event chits at the bottom for the Union. Here you've got a look at some of the Unions. So you've got Ohio, Indiana. So this is where my state is Indiana, obviously. I didn't have any relatives in there fighting. But different formations: Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Missouri, Ohio, Missouri again, Illinois, Iowa, Ohio again. So kind of cool. So that's the Union counter sheet, and then this are Union and Confederate, and then you've got all different types. Looks like these are cornfields or brush. Kind of a neat looking counter. Oh, actually, it's trees cut down, so it's hasty improved positions probably. But you have shaken markers, different administrative markers down there. Union fire and move, and then on the other side, Confederate fire and move. Hasty improvements there. Disrupted markers. It's a really nice looking counter. Those popped off the sprue really well. I'm going to go ahead and take one. And they're going to need clipping, but not much. There's not a whole lot of fluff there. Nice looking counter. I actually enjoy when they just do formations and something different than a silhouette. So I think those look really sharp. But those are the counters. Now let's go ahead. It's a one mapper. I'm going to move everything over because we're going to go ahead and... All right. Well, we're going to have to lay it out this way because I think that's the way the map is oriented. Maybe it's oriented this way. I'll do it this way. The writing is this way. Beautiful, beautiful map. Love the different colors. Obviously, being in Louisiana, Chickasaw Bayou, you can imagine lots of rivers, creeks, streams, lakes, low areas, marsh. There's a ton of marsh over here and over there. So you're not gonna be able to move through that very well. Yeah, this is the classic Rick Barber style. Rick would have hand drawn all those bushes and rocks and other things. I also love the not full hexes, but they're kind of partial hexes. Very clearly numbered. Love the colors. Yeah, this is a sharp looking board. Let me go ahead and zoom out just a little bit. That's a big map. This is going to be fun. I'm very much looking forward to it. But there's the map. I think the map is credited to Charlie Kibler, and probably a couple of others. But once again, I think they tried to mimic that Rick Barber style. So let's go ahead and lay those out. Yeah, these look really good. I mean, the colors are going to work really good together. They're going to pop, really stand out clearly. I like it. I like a good looking war game. I think you guys do too. And definitely this one's going to be good looking. Yeah, that looks great. Lots of stuff there too. Let's go ahead and pop that. Yeah, really nice looking. I really appreciate you guys watching. Can't wait to get this one to the table. Obviously, I've got to clip it and get it organized and then read the rules first. But there you have it. Prelude to Vicksburg, Chickasaw Bayou, the American Civil War Volume 9, the Blind Sword series from Revolution Games. Brand new 2024. I think this came out like in January or so, and I picked a copy up. So we'll get it to the table. We'll share it with you, and hopefully everything goes well. So thank you very much. I've been Grant for the Player's Aid.